About Emily's monologue. I like that they are going more and more dark in this last story arc of season 3. I know many wished the finale would have been the end of the show cause it was that kind of perfect. But for me they have found a quite clever way to sneak in a new theme or mood that will accompany Emily and the show till the very end. Addiction and this unhealthy obsessive and competitive relationship Emily and Victoria are in. In the first 2 seasons and the first half of season 3 it always evolved around Daniel. But now that Emily is in some kind free of pretending to be in love with Daniel and wanting to be part of the Grayson family, she can finally show her real face and revel in her hat for Victoria. And spoiler alert, after Pascal's death it is the same with Victoria. So superficially this monologue is about Pascal and his gambling addiction and his weakness for Victoria, which is like a mirror for Conrad, who seems to have the very much same personality. So I guess Victoria has a type. Anyway, in fact it is about Victoria's and Emily's addiction for revenge and the cycle of hate. So for me it was very fitting seeing Victoria walking in slow motion and hearing Emily in the off describing their addiction problem. About Emily missing Aiden. It is really cruel of the writers bringing us this rollercoaster. First we think Aiden is gone for good and Jack might have a second chance since he is always around. But then he comes back and they get together again happier as ever, only to snatch this luck away from Emily forever. For storytelling and dramatic reasons this was pure gold, but I am still not over this very sad and cruel ending for Aiden. About Daniel using Charlotte. I know he did much worse by shooting Emily, and I will not tell you that drinking does excuse hurting a woman in that way. But using Charlotte in his war against Emily was really despicable. He knows firsthand how fragile she is after her suicide attempt and the drug abuse in season 1. And he knows best that Emily's lie hits home for Charlotte because of her miscarriage after season 2. So using his little sister is the last thing he should do. And shows how much he is grown into becoming a real Grayson. About Jack and Stevie. I know it is fast, but I like how their relationship evolves. Finally it seems Jack has a little luck and happy times in the near future. And it speaks for itself that we see him more often with his newfound mother than with his actual girlfriend Margaux. By the way, I like the redesign Charlotte did for the bar. I think becoming a designer or someone who works with social media is a far better job proposition for her than this ridiculous idea of becoming a lawyer at the end of season 4. About Conrad and Pascal. Though there is always this underlining tension between them, the scene with the two were always very funny. Like I said, I think Henry Czerny is really in the mood to go out with a bang this season. Spoiler alert. He certainly knew this was his last season, so he seems to be determined to show the full range of his character. Maybe it is also the French influence. Revenge was always some kind of dark and playful, so it seems the writers rediscovered the drive of the first season. This little scene between Emily, Pascal and Nolan was a reminder for me what I love about this show. Emily using all her charms to get the attention of her male target and distract him enough to do a number on him, while Nolan is impressed by her skills. About Victoria's groupies and Conrad's intrusions. Funny, even now that they are divorced for the second time, Conrad seems never to leave her alone. He always finds excuses to come back at Grayson Manor. Spoiler alert. Even when he gets arrested, he is standing in the foyer and fights with Victoria. I guess the only way for Victoria to get finally rid of him was if he would die. Though these kind of scenes did nothing for the story of Emily's revengender, I always enjoyed when they were fighting. So I was happy that they found enough reasons to keep the two together, even if the reasons were as thin as some of the character descriptions. And those women Victoria has gathered around her. I get they try to show us that she is still the reigning queen of the Hamptons. But call me overcritical, in the first season they did a better job in showing Victoria's power over people. These kind of gathering scenes with her groupies in season 3 and 4 appear like a desperate attempt to maintain Victoria's status. About Daniel and Margaux. As much as I hate where he is right now and how he is using her, too. As much I loved their storyline in season 4. Right now he is really a dig. I mean, look at his clothes and hairstyle. He looks like the typical prep guy who studied business and now works for a hedge fund only to make money and enjoy his life, while ruining the lives of others for sport and fun. In this stage he is in Margaux is far too good for him. The way he is constantly using Charlotte and now making Margaux jealous of Emily to ruin her and Jack's relationship is even for him a low move. He is conspiring and manipulating like his parents. And surely he does not think a second about how Margaux and Charlotte feel being used this way. About Emily and Pascal. Even knowing that she will epically fail, this is still fun to watch. How she is trying to lure him out and him trying to resist. By the way, I think this might be the real reason for Victoria to ease off Pascal's courtship. She saw that he was interested in Emily and that he could help her with both of her enemies, Conrad and Emily. By the way, this Monte Carlo night and the dresses of Victoria and Emily are my favorite venue besides the big wedding, of course. I think it was the last big party beside Emily's party in the pilot episode of season 4 and the 2 weddings that took place in the last season. And we never saw such sexy and extravagant dresses again. But we get to that later. Now to Emily and Stevie. I still regret that we have not seen more of these two. If you think about that, Stevie is gonna be Emily's mother-in-law by the end of the show. You would expect to see more scenes with the two. Instead they showed us more scenes with Stevie and David in season 4 than with her and Emily in the whole show. And again here they would have made a good team. Both despise Victoria and Conrad. And Stevie is sure of David Clarke's innocence. Though she does not know about the whole conspiracy, Jack told her enough in order to make her understand what is at stake here. So why not tell her the truth? It would have made totally sense for her to join Emily's little revenge club. Even more if she knew that the daughter of the man they want justice for is still alive. But I am repeating myself. So let's talk about Emily, Jack and Aiden. I love this little scene between them. Though I am still rooting for Aiden, this shows how compassionate Jack still can be with Emily. And of course how much he really cares about her. Not the fake persona she created to land Daniel. I like that he is pushing her to talk with Aiden even though he is still in love with her. I know this is an old trope, too. But this totally fits Jack's character from season 1. He would do anything to see her happy. Even if that means giving her up or helping with her revengender. So I guess Jack and Aiden have very much in common, and Emily has a type, too. About Victoria and Pascal. This scene with Daniel was funny and it served its purpose well, telling us more about the relationship between Victoria and Pascal. Though it was fun seeing Daniel's reaction, and Joshua Bowman plays it really nice and amusing. A flashback with the actress we had seen as young Victoria in Season 2 and young Pascal would have been perfect. But what I really enjoyed is that silly idea with the orchid. A perfect metaphor for Victoria, who seems to be as delicate and beautiful as this special flower, who needs very special treatment and looks like no other flower on this earth. About Emily visiting Aiden. Again they overdo this reference to James Bond. Like in one of the ones with Daniel Craig. I think it was Skyfall from 2012 or Spectre 3 years later. Aiden is living at an island in the South Pacific and spends his retirement with drinking and mourning for his lost love. The only thing I like about this scene is how sarcastic Aiden is, very much like Daniel Craig as James Bond. And Emily's fashion choice, if you can call it that much. Both are wearing white as if they would raise a white flag. Though I can relate to Aiden's attitude since Emily's blackouts nearly got him killed and she was the one who threw their relationship away. I was not happy that he refused to help her. Like selfish Emily, I thought he would jump at the opportunity and come back with her. But I guess that would have made him more like Jack, who is now in the state of forgiving Emily nearly everything. So it was good in the end that he took the time to think it through and came back on his own terms at the end of the episode. One thing that was unintentionally fun was in the bloopers. Cause in this scene Aiden destroys Emily's clue so that she leaves the note for him, what makes him come back in the end. But in the bloopers we see that Barry Sloane has a hard time shredding the paper. And Emily makes fun of him, saying he is supposed to be a ninja and should do this easily, of course. Anyway, I like Aiden's whole attitude. This scene made me miss him even more cause Barry Sloane can be really funny, obviously. About Conrad and Stevie. This scene was hard to stomach. At first I felt sympathy for Conrad. Cause this was a huge betrayal, having a child with another man while they were married. It's like deja vu cause Victoria did the same to him with Charlotte. Only worse, since she made him believe Charlotte was his daughter, not David's. Stevie had at least the guts to quit and never look back after their marriage failed, while Victoria stayed and only worked together with Conrad to make each other's life hell during their shattered marriage. But blaming her and using Stevie's guilty feeling to take advantage of her and giving both Pascal and Victoria what they want, to get what he wants in the end, showed again how ruthless Conrad is. And that he gives a damn about anyone else but himself. Still, I do not know what this scene and their backstory should tell us. Is Victoria the big bad who made Conrad the man he is now? It was his decision to get in business with a terrorist organization. His decision to frame an innocent employee for this. And accidentally the one who slept with his wife, and surely made Conrad hate him enough to not think twice. About the Monte Carlo night and Emily's dress. This is still my favorite red dress of her. She looks just fabulous with this heart-shaped neckline and the long gown. And her hair. This waves are my favorite hairstyle of her. I used the photo for my profile picture. So much I am in love with that look. She looks like a Hollywood star who is going to the Oscars. It brings back this old glamorous era from the 30s or 40s. When they had this big studio stars. And I love this little scene between Emily and Daniel. They are really in a fighting mood. And again this internal joke with red as her favorite color. If he only knew what the color red really means to her. And her act having paid for all this with his money since she has none was just hilariously. I am sure she used his credit card only to make his blood boil. Cause we all knew she can afford this on her own. and only plays with him and Victoria by pretending otherwise. And I like Nolan's blazer with the flowers. Reminds of his vest from season 2 at the wine auction. He can pull it off, even the golden cravat. The only thing I do not understand is why he needs a stick. First the glasses and now this. Should this be a joke about his age? I never thought about him being that old. Now about Victoria's dress. Again, she is wearing white like she would have been an innocent victim. And of course, since she is in competition with Emily, her neckline has to be lower. Both dresses are in the same way revealing but still elegant because of the floating quality of the fabric. However, Emily is a slightly more classy even though she is wearing that signal color, which has a lot to do with the different hairstyles. While Emily looks like a classy Hollywood star from the golden era, Victoria looks like her hair was done while she got an electric shock or her hair dryer did explode. But what I really enjoyed is this competition between the two for Pascal's attention. For many it might have been redundant since we got that theme long enough with Daniel. But this time it is different cause Pascal is Victoria's boyfriend and an official target of Emily. So this is not a game, and the stakes are even higher, as we will see in the later episodes to come. And I love Pascal's idea that Emily plays poker not with him but with Victoria. And how complacent he looks with these two beautiful women in his arms. This and the last episode with him were truly one of the best episodes this season and from the whole show. They had the right amount of beauty, danger, tension and horror. And with this layers of different intentions and agendas, they are still thrilling to watch even though you know the turnout of events. About Jack, Margaux and Daniel. He is such an ass this season. I really thought we saw the worst in season 2 when he was conspiring with his parents. But this bad Daniel is a far cry of the one in this season. First he is cheating on his wife and shoots her on their wedding night. Then he does anything to conspire against his father and Emily, using every woman of the show except Emily for his own advantage, including Sarah. And now he is destroying the relationship of Margaux and Jack only because he can. His behavior is a really unpleasant mix of boasting and showing off his wealth and drinking. I must give Joshua Bowman credit cause he makes me really hate Daniel this season. Destroying Margaux's and Jack's relationship was so selfish. It is like he says to Emily in the last season, they both use people and give a damn about it. Margaux believes his lies, and even when there is some truth in it. This is just none of his business, and she should have known better as someone who works in the media field than to blame Emily solely for their failed marriage. She must know better than anyone else that there are always two sides. And I still cannot figure it why she is at the end of this season choosing the side of the Graysons. But that is another thing we have to discuss later. For now it is just annoying how Daniel is using everyone around him to play war with Emily, while she and his parents have far bigger problems and issues to solve than his hurt ego. About Emily gambling with Victoria and Pascal. I bet this scene was the reason for many to watch the episode on TV. Though, or maybe because it is filled with clichés, this gamble was one of my favorite scenes between Emily and Victoria. They both are very blunt in this scene and tease each other like never before. Judging Emily's looks, I knew that she was already assuming Victoria is trying to get at her. So it is only a matter of time until she would discover her biggest secret. I think that was the reason, because she was that desperate to go over the finish line as fast as possible. Not only because her plan with the wedding failed. She has no longer a deadline, so there is no need to rush. But Victoria is out for her, so Emily has to be faster than her in order to win against the Graysons. Even though Conrad is her biggest target, Victoria proved in the end far more dangerous. Because Conrad really did not know what hit him. While Victoria already worked behind his and Emily's back to get even with her. And she has a new ally in Pascal, what Emily discovers almost too late. This time it was clever and quite elegant how the writers sprinkled little hints that Victoria is pursuing her own agenda. Letting Emily win and going alone with Pascal was more than suspicious, since Victoria made that scene only 30 minutes ago. So Emily should have been suspicious from the start. But I like this very obvious duplicity. She wants to know what Pascal knows about Conrad and the David Clarke conspiracy. While Pascal tries to figure out for Victoria what Emily is up to. Her cover was clever, making him believe she would sell the Graysons dirty little secrets to maintain her luxurious lifestyle. About Stevie's drinking problem. It is a shame that they make this a topic. As I said in the previous episode, one would have liked to see her stronger and having overcome this weakness. I know it is tough and there are temptations everywhere for reformed alcoholics. But seeing her struggle like this and being weak like this is so sad. Even more, as she could be more useful and of more help if she did not have that problem. I mean, she was introduced as this strong and tough divorce lawyer. And after 2 episodes and being back in the Hamptons with Conrad and Victoria, Stevie is that desperate for a drink again. It is just so sad to watch. And unnecessarily, in my opinion, cause she is just a casualty in this war Victoria is fighting against Conrad and Emily. About Victoria and Pascal. Though I mostly do not like sex and kissing scenes between older actors, I must admit that her scenes with Pascal are very hot. They remind me of her scenes with that painter in season 1. And I like this very romantic idea that Pascal is loving her since they met in France. In many ways Pascal and Aiden are very much alike. Spoiler alert. They both sacrifice everything, even their life, for the woman they love. And they both had to make it up to their lover because they let her down before. Pascal by cheating on Victoria all those years again. And Aiden because he cheated at the training session with Takeda. For their rekindled affair, I must admit it works. I was really rooting for this pairing, as odd as it sounds. But besides hunting Emily, it really looks as if Victoria was turning over a new leaf and wanted to start over without Conrad. About Aiden being back. I was thrilled that he was finally willing to help Emily again. I know his backstory, and the whole episode after this one might be very lame for some viewers. But I still love that his story was broadened and we get to see his mother. I mean, he was or is Emily's fiancé and they wanted to build a future together, so why not show us more about his family and where he grew up? Since we lost Jack's dad at the beginning of season 1 and now get to know his mother, and Daniel's family is best known for their deeds. It is only fair to get to know more about Aiden's background. And since I am Anglophile, I just love this English theme in the next episode. So I was very much thrilled to see more of Aiden's past. And of course getting to the bottom of Pascal's secrets with Conrad. For me, the next episode was not lame, and I was happy that they took the time to show us a more calm and thoughtful episode. before we get to the more action-filled episode near the end.